Hanukkah, oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Send Vivant to play with the latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low.
Happy Hanukkah, everybody! Wow! What an incredible turnout for the first annual Winthrop public Hanukkah celebration. And when we thought about this a couple months ago, we could not have imagined seeing such a beautiful turnout. So many of your smiling faces here tonight. It is such a beautiful thing to see, and it has it's brightened my Hanukkah, and I'm sure it's brightened Rabbi Flax's Hanukkah as well. My name is Rabbi Sruli Baron from Tobin Bridge Chabad, and it's our honor and pleasure to put on this event this year together with Temple Tifereth Israel and Rabbi Flax. I just want to take a few moments to share a little bit of the meaning behind the menorah and the message of Hanukkah. Okay? Meet the menorah standing behind us. The center branch that you see there is called the shamash, and that is the flame that you use to light all the other flames. And aside from that center branch, you have 8 other branches for 8 nights of Hanukkah. Why do we celebrate 8 nights of Hanukkah? Why do we light an 8-branched candelabra when this candelabra is actually made to commemorate the candelabra in the temple, which actually only had 6 branches aside for the shamash? So why do we go from 6 branches to 8 branches? Anyone want to raise their hand and volunteer the answer? Okay.
We got one in the back.
Oh, who's that in the back? And you got to yell it out loud.
It's because the story of Hanukkah was based on a miracle where lamp oil kept burning for 8 days and nights.
Yes, thank you very much. We're commemorating a miracle that happened when the Jewish people re-entered their temple and found it in shambles. They did not have enough oil to light the menorah. They only had enough oil to light the menorah for 1 night. And they lit that oil, and it lasted for 1 night, and a second night, and a third night, and a 4th night, 5th night, a 6th night, 7th night, and finally the 8th night of Hanukkah, when they could finally produce enough oil in the interim to continue lighting the menorah from then on. So that's why we celebrate this miracle, the miracle of 8 nights, by lighting the menorah for 8 nights of Hanukkah. Now, I have a question for everyone. How many miraculous nights of Hanukkah were there? If you listened to that story just now. How many miraculous nights were there? 7. Very good. Okay, they had enough oil to light for 1 night. So there was really only 7 nights of miracles. So seemingly, we should celebrate the miracles for 7 nights, not 8 nights. Right? Why do we celebrate 8 nights of miracles? What was really the miracle of the first night? And the answer that I heard, and I found it very inspiring, and I hope you will as well, was the miracle of the first night was that the Maccabees even bothered to light the menorah at all. Right? They came back. Their temple is in shambles. They don't have enough oil to do this mitzvah, to fulfill this commandment for 8 nights. They don't have enough oil. They could have just given up and said, hey, you win some, you lose some. We can't do this. The darkness is too great. We'll come back in a week when we have more oil and start lighting it then. The miracle was only able to happen because they had the miracle of faith, of hope, despite the darkness, that they're going to do their part to bring light into the world. And the rest is up to God. It says in Pirkei Avot, in Ethics of Our Fathers, Lo alecha hamlacha ligmar. It's not up to us to finish the work, V'lo ata ben chorin lihibatel mimena, but we can't either ignore the work altogether. So faced with darkness in the world, faced with pain and suffering out there, we have a choice to make. What are we going to do? Are we going to isolate ourselves and insulate ourselves from the cold, from the darkness? Or are we going to light a fire? But you may say, hey, what is my fire? What is my light of goodness and kindness actually going to help? The darkness is too much. It's too intense. The Maccabees taught us, and the Menorah teaches us to have audacity. The audacity to have hope in the face of darkness. To say, hey, I may not be able to change the world, but I can change my surroundings. I may not be able to brighten the whole world, but I can brighten one other person's day, one neighbor's day, one family member's day. I can reach out with care, compassion, and empathy and light a fire. And the nature of fire is that you can share it without losing anything. If I have a candle and I light your candle, my candle doesn't get smaller because of that. And you can, and that kindness extends. And the person whose life you changed can then go ahead and change somebody else's life. So that's my wish for each and every one of you here tonight, to think about as we go through this program, as we light the menorah, as we sing these songs, what is that candle that you are going to light tonight? Who are you going to bring it to tonight or tomorrow morning? Whose life are you going to change for the better? What act of goodness and kindness are you going to do to change the world for the better? And that'll make it a very, very bright and joyous Hanukkah for each and every one of you, for all of us together, and for the entire world. I'd like to invite my esteemed colleague and brother, Rabbi Ben Flax, to share a few words.
Hanukkah Sameach, everyone. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
It's a little hard to follow such a beautiful message, but I want to just thank everyone again for coming out tonight. It really is beautiful to see so many members of the Jewish community of Winthrop, of our faith partners and other community members within Winthrop, our elected officials on town council. We have our state rep, we have our state senator. We are just so appreciative to have such a wonderful strength and support. I also would like to thank Chief Delahanty and some of Winthrop's finest who are out here making sure that we feel safe during this time. It is hard to not reflect on the events last week where anti-Semitism reared its ugly head. But let's not focus on that. Let's focus on what has been the response. And the response has been words of affection, words of strength, and words of support. One of the minhag's customs of the Chanukiah, the menorah, is to put it in your window, or in the time of the Talmud, in the early centuries of this common era, was to have it outside the door of your home. And what better location than to have this menorah outside the door welcoming everyone into Winthrop.
Yeah.
So thank you all for being here. I would like to turn the mic over to our state senator, Lee Edwards, for a few comments.
And I want to thank Rabbi for your leadership and also for your camaraderie. Both he and I are now are members of the National Guard, so we serve together on the weekends. So it's great to see him in both capacities and leaders in this community. I think when I think of Hanukkah, when I think of the menorah, I think of light, and that in so much we need in this world has to do with light, being illuminated, being transparent, being honest, and also being brave. And I want to thank everyone for not only just coming out here to celebrate and show solidarity with our Jewish brothers and sisters and neighbors, but more importantly that we celebrate that the light continues to shine towards justice, towards love, toward inclusion, no matter how hard and how dark other places and other things are happening around us. And it's beautiful that we shine that light here, right in the center, proudly for everyone to see, not only in coming into Winthrop, but to show that not only are we going to shine light, but we're going to make sure it's as bright as possible and as inclusive as possible. I'm honored to serve with you in the Guard. I'm honored to serve with you representing and healing in Winthrop. And I want more than anything in the world that as we continue to shine our light and to include as many people and faiths as possible, that we do it with that small town, beautiful sense of love and spirit and neighborly love. So thank you so much for coming out, and happy Hanukkah to everyone.
And now I'd like to invite State Representative Jeffrey Turco. There we go.
All right. Thank you very much, rabbis. Thank you very much for your leadership to make this event happen tonight. I want to repeat what Rabbi Flack said, to thank our Winthrop police officers for being here to make us all feel safe. We thank you for what you do every day. This is what represents Winthrop, not the events of last week, but the events of today. We've seen the face of hate in this town several times over the last few years, and each time the people of this town have risen up and come together and shown love and support for each other. And what an overwhelming response that we have tonight to support this event, to support our Jewish community, not just here in Winthrop, but around the area. So I want to thank each one of you for coming. But Rabbi, as you talked about each one of us, doing an act of lighting a candle, I was thinking, I'm a big fan of Robert Kennedy, and he spoke in South Africa in 1962 in the Day of Affirmation, and he said, each time a man stands up for an ideal, or acts to improve the lot of others, or strikes out against injustice, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope. And crossing each other from a million different centers of energy and daring, those ripples build a current that can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance. Few are willing to brave the disapproval of their fellows, the censure of their colleagues, the wrath of their society. But moral courage is a greater commodity than bravery in battle, but it is the one essential, vital quality for those who seek to change the world that yields most painfully to change. And as I was listening to it, I was thinking of that quote, and I just think it's so fitting that each one of us, when we leave here tonight, go out and do an act of kindness to people. Let them know that regardless of our faiths, whether we have faith, whether we don't have faith, that we're here for one another, and that this community stands for peace, justice, and love. I also be remiss if I didn't thank, we have our minister, our pastor from the Methodist Church, a priest from the Episcopal Church here joining us in the interfaith community. We thank you for your presence. We're blessed by your presence and your support for the community. But I thank you all for being here. God bless you all. Happy Hanukkah to everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to say a few words.
All right, without further ado, Rabbi Flax and I will sing the blessings together, and then one of us will brave the ladder to go up and light the flames on this menorah. It's lit every night with light bulbs. Tonight we're going to light it the way it was done 2,000 years ago. All right?
With tiki torches.
With tiki torches.
If you know the bracha, please feel free to join in. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim avoteinu bayamim hahem ba'azman hazeh. You want to head up? You want me to?
There they go.
One more up.
Another step.
Here, I got a better idea.
There we go. Yeah.
Get all the way forward from the new one. Oh, because of course, you know, when I'm letting it at home, I remember. One more.
Oh, wow.
Right. No, I appreciate it. Reach up there.
That would be at the feet.
You saw hot flyers? You saw how the
Yeah.
Ma'osor Yeshuati Lebrana Elishabeach Tikon Beit Tefilati Visham Toda Nizabeach Li'ez Tachin Matbeach Misor Hamabeach Az Egmor B'Shir Mizmor Chanukat HaMizbeach Az Egmor B'Shir Mizmor Chanukat HaMizbeach.
All right, thanks again, everyone, for coming. Please make sure that I don't leave tonight with any latkes or donuts, okay? Also, if you are a child or a child at heart, we have these little LED glow-up necklaces. Make sure to approach me, and I'll make sure you get one. And if you don't have a menorah at home to light, and you would like a menorah to light at home, we have menorah kits over at that table as well. Okay, so please help yourself. They're there for you, available free of charge. Thank you very much, and have a happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah!